Good afternoon. We're gathered today in the traditional territory of the signatories of Treaty 7. I acknowledge the Métis people who share a deep connection with this land. I'm joined by Kathleen Ganley, the MLA for Calgary-Mountain View and the NDP Energy Critic. This morning, Statistics Canada released new data confirming what we've been hearing from Albertans for months. They're working harder and harder, only to fall further behind. Today's data shows that wages are failing to keep pace with inflation. The inflation rate for June was 8.4%. Meanwhile, wages only increased by 3.3%. That means Albertans effectively took a 5% pay cut. And to make matters worse, wage growth in Alberta was below the national average, and inflation is above the national average. In fact, since the beginning of the pandemic, Alberta has had the slowest wage growth in the country. Meanwhile, the cost of housing, utilities, gas, and groceries have all skyrocketed. As a result, Albertans are struggling to make ends meet. Just last week, we learned that Alberta has the highest rate of food insecurity in the country, as people struggle to afford the necessities like groceries. But the UCP has done next to nothing to support families during this affordability crisis. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Kathleen. Kathleen?
Thanks, Joe. As Joe said, Albertans are falling further behind, and this morning's data backs that up. But rather than helping, the UCP have made a bad situation worse. They've increased income taxes, property taxes, tuition, interest on student debt, camping and park fees, utilities, and car insurance. They've cut seniors' benefits, the child tax benefit, and AISH. While the UCP has offered short-term relief, it pales in comparison to the costs piled on Albertans. All of this comes at a time when oil is hovering near $100 a barrel. The province is collecting record levels of resource revenue, and our GDP is growing. But Albertans aren't feeling it. Even in the oil and gas sector, where profits and salaries are high, the number of jobs in the sector has declined over the last year. Now, many Albertans are struggling to pay their bills and keep a roof over their head. Next week, the government will release its first quarter update, and we expect to find a significant surplus. And we hope to see real relief for Albertans come with that. The UCP could stop piling on new debts to Alberta families right now. They could reindex income taxes, benefits to inflation. They could reinvest in post-secondary. They could cancel the K-Country fee or cap power prices and car insurance. Together, these policies could offer thousands of dollars in relief to Alberta families to help them during this affordability crisis. And they could present a long-term plan to diversify our economy and create good mortgage-paying jobs for Albertans. They're failing on all of these fronts. Frankly, despite new data, I remain skeptical that this government will put any renewed emphasis on making things easier for Alberta families. But to those families, I want to say on behalf of Joe and myself, we at the Alberta NDP hear you. We know the financial hardship you're facing. We know that even as you work hard, many of you are falling further and further behind. I promise you that if we form the next government, we will be focused on making sure that things are affordable for families and creating thousands of new jobs to support families throughout Alberta. Thank you, and we're now both happy to take your questions.
Okay, we'll start with questions in person. Okay, seeing none, we'll move to questions on the line. Just a reminder, if you're joining by Zoom, to use the raise hand function, and if you're joining by phone, to press *9. Seeing no questions, I guess that's all for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much for watching, and to learn more, check out albertasfuture.ca.